How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I'm going to be talking to Chris and Oliver. Chris Gooch, is that how you pronounce it, sir? Thank you.
Yep.
And Oliver.
Oh, no?
Oh, no. Okay.
That's me.
That's pretty easy to pronounce. I was like, I'm going to mess this up somehow. Both of these gentlemen are working on the Starship Godzilla, which is part of the Godzilla Kai-Sei era. And their book is like, I got to read issue 1 and I'm currently reading issue 2, but it reminds me of like 80s anime, like sci-fi anime. It is freaking killer, man. I love the art. I love the story. And before we went live, I was praising Chris because I'm a big fan of his books that he's done for Top Shelf, like Under Earth and In Utero, Bottled. So it's really cool to see him write this about Godzilla, because when you look at those books don't really say Godzilla to me, but now it kind of makes sense. So how did this project get started? Because how did you all know the Kai-Sei era was coming and you all were going to have one of the books?
I can answer that one just as a quick start. My camera's doing, there we go. All right.
He's found the sweet
very
spot.
Heavenly.
Yeah,
Very heavenly for a second.
Crystallizing or something. January 2024, I just randomly sent a pitch through to Jake, who's the Godzilla editor. I think he just kind of started, like he just jumped on or I've been on it for a couple of months or something.
Yeah, he came on midway, like summer of last year.
Yep.
Yep.
I sent him a pitch for Starship Godzilla then, and I didn't have any idea that they were like, going to do the combined universe thing. But yeah, he was really interested, and it took a little bit of back and forth to get something that Toho would approve. There are a couple of different iterations of like, oh, what can we use? How like gory, or like how much can we mash up the different kaiju and stuff. But yeah, once we settled on something they approved, he was like, oh, this is great. And then he was like, and also we're doing shared universe. Would you be keen to have it fold into that? I was like, yeah, definitely. And he'd mentioned that he was working on Oliver wrapping up Godzilla Summer Island Monster Camp.
Island Summer Camp.
Damn, I always get it wrong. Anyway, all right. Yes. He was wrapping that up, and he was like, oh, I'm working with Oliver. He's really amazing. And I'd seen Oliver's work in like the original previews they'd done for that, just on Twitter. And I was like, oh, yeah, I love those. So I was very keen to work with him. Yeah. Then as soon as we got on the same page with the Toho stuff and things like that, it was just sort of sending through a big outline and refining that a bit, and then talking to Oliver when he joined. But that was basically the pitching process.
Yeah, it was on my side. It was really like I first had heard, not at this past San Diego Comic-Con, but the one before of it. Like Jake was being very cryptic and being very much like, I'm putting together a team. Like it was. And so I didn't know what the scope of the project was. I knew probably it was like multiple different series as a shared universe, but like it was really funny because prior to me knowing any of it, I was coming to that Comic-Con and I wanted to show Jake some of my sketchbooks because I wanted to do like a Mecha Godzilla story with him. That was going to be like, I was going to do like writer, artist, and pitch and see, just see what he thought, see what his thoughts were. And also the main like antagonist, the big main antagonist of the series, which we're not talking about yet, but it also involved that exact antagonist as well. So it just happened to work out like perfectly that he was like, I've already got something coming. Do you want to jump on with this? And here we are.
So whenever I hear about pitches, it's somebody's like, oh, I've been a big fan of X-Men, I've been a big fan of Batman, and here's my pitch. Both of you fans of Godzilla?
Yeah, I mean,
I would assume.
Yeah, I like Godzilla. Okay. I got my favorites for sure. But yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
I always wondered how much Godzilla. So what's your favorite Godzilla movie then?
Shin Godzilla for sure. Like, I don't know if that's like the cliche one to pick, but like I love that movie to death.
That's one that anime fans really like, though. Like, I love that one too, man. That one's really good. It's a good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, as a big mecha guy, like you can't not like Hideaki Anno and
right.
Yeah. So that's for sure a favorite. But I love the old stuff. I love all the different like flavors, like from the kind of kooky zany stuff, which I'm kind of trying to fold some of the like Showa era like funkiness.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of my favorite like kind of that old school anime stuff, and even like you think about like Gurren Lagann and all that. Like,
oh my god, you're speaking my language. Go on.
It like folds in kind of that like hokey super robot like Megazord type vibe, but then makes it like really like hit hard and be gritty and feel more serious than it was ever originally meant to be. That was kind of the thing that like Gundam did, was like taking this like silly concept and making it like pretty actual like harsh. The world is like more real, and that was a lot of the vibe that we were trying to go for.
Yeah, it's so interesting you bring up Gundam, because when I was a kid, like what always bothered me about cartoons like Transformers or any mecha cartoon was the addition of human beings. I was like, man, I just want to see the robots transform and fight. I don't care about any of these humans. But when you go back to Gundam, that's what makes Gundam so different than compared to like Mazinger Z or all the Go-Nagai giant robots, right? Like it's that human addition. Like you're kind of cheering for the whiny kid that's like not wanting to pilot the freaking giant Gundam. And you also want to smack him getting the freaking robot kid. Right. So the addition of humanity in all these stories kind of, and it really does. Okay, I can totally see that in your comic, because your characters are those human characters. So without spoiling anything, because the book is not out yet, it is coming out. Let me see, the FOC, just to make sure, 25th? Is August 25th. Yeah, so it's not out yet. I did want to show some of the covers that I can't show, but to kind of give you an idea of the flair of this. And it is due out October 1st too.
Correct. Yeah.
And let me just show you, like, this is the cover. It is your cover. And that just shows, oh my gosh, it's everything that I love. It's very very hippish. I don't know, it's covering us. Sorry.
You're good.
It's very
hello.
It's very cool. It's very Cowboy Bebop. It's very giant robot. It's very anime, and I love it, man. Also, the internal artwork, I only have one page to share, and it's just like it's got this European flair to it too, man. Like Mobius, I'm a big fan of this art, and not that there's anything wrong with the other teams. I think they're great, and I can't wait to read everything together. But yours, I remember when I was interviewing Jake, I was like, man, this one really stands out. Maybe it speaks to the kid at heart that loves giant freaking robots, that yours just stood out. It was amazing. And I wasn't familiar with your work, Oliver.
Oh, well, thank you for the kind words. That's away, so nice. Man. Yeah, I hope I get to, continue to fill pages and show people more stuff that is, rambling around in my brain. But no, like honestly, when I got the script from Chris as well, it's like really compelling and like very character driven, and it's very easy to like breathe life into the world. Like you feel, I felt the need to like really populate the world with like the kind of depth that it feels like the writing had. You know what I mean?
You've definitely gone like above and beyond, like with all the extra characters and everything, and also like the scripts I'm writing, like I write and draw my own stuff, so I'm trying to write stuff for Oliver that I wouldn't necessarily be able to draw myself. Like, so
it's something that I can't draw either, but
there's some big asks. Like there's like, it's a lot of, there's definitely some like, not necessarily like tough scenes, but just like a lot of like like characters in different places and there's new environments, and it's like I imagine it'd be tough to like just be like, oh damn, like I really need like an easy day, like let's just have this be a simple page. Like there's some of those, but there's a lot of stuff. Omar, you do videos with like kids comics and stuff with your kids, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I reckon they'd love Oliver's first Godzilla book for sure. It's really cool.
My kids, so it's funny. My kids are, when you have kids, it's like, why can't you love the same things I love? Damn it. They do their own thing. But I'm very blessed that my daughter, my oldest, loves Transformers, loves Gundam, only certain universe Gundam. I mean, we ain't got to talk about that. And loves Mega Man. So she's already into mech. While my youngest, she loves things like Pokemon, and she's into more manga than my oldest daughter. But my oldest daughter likes a lot of the classic giant robot stuff that I grew up with. And both of them really liked Shin Godzilla, but they like Godzilla -1 even more, which surprised me because that's like a period piece. And I was like, this is Evangelion. Like why aren't you like, even the music is like Evangelion. So Chris, you are also an artist, and I've done overviews of your books before. So this is your cover to Godzilla. How different is it when you're writing a script for Oliver than when you're working on your own project, like you're writing and drawing your graphic novels?
Definitely very different. Although, like, a lot of it is the difference between like length and things like that. Like, me and Oliver have 22 pages that's coming out once a month for X amount of months. Like, you have to cover like enough story that it's fulfilling to read and hold in your hands, but also not so much that it feels crammed and crappy and irritating. Like, whereas like a graphic novel that I'm drawing, I'm just like, oh, what? This doesn't quite flow. I'll just chuck in 5 more pages. Like, it's not a big deal. And I'm drawing it myself as well. So it's like, oh, just, there's an extra week or whatever. But yeah, doing the script, having a book be monthly is like definitely a new thing and a new challenge. I think I get better as I go on, but yeah, it's hard telling like short stories that also have to be like a pilot of like a TV show, and also have to be like visually compelling and interesting for Oliver to draw, and like have like good like opportunities for him to like kill drawing awesome stuff. Like, it's there's a lot of things to balance, and then it's all got to be 22 pages. Even then, like, even as the issues go on, it's like maybe 20 pages because you got to have the hook for the next bit at the end, and it's and you got to have it all like come together and blah blah blah. I do a lot of like Back at the Farm, if you guys know that sort of writing convention, where it's like The Empire Strikes Back. You split them up so you can cut between them, and you do that like Alan Moore overlay text or dialogue from one scene onto the other, and they kind of like juxtaposition gives meaning, etc. But like, it means that you can cover ground without doing like narration. I'm not a big fan of like the whole like, I'm Batman, this is my city, like narration stuff. I think that can lead to having
sex journal.
Yeah, you just get like, I remember when I write that stuff, I'm just like, the panels aren't as interesting. Like, it's not, they kind of feel like a wallpaper as opposed to like a scene that's happening. But yeah, it's tricky. It's been really fun, and like, I'm very grateful to have Oliver too. Like, so yeah, like I said before, it's like it's definitely like a big swing, and yeah, I couldn't do what he's doing. Like, the scenes just wouldn't work. Like, I can't communicate that level of like visual information and scene setting in like 2 panels or 1 panel. Like, I need 2 pages to do that, like, for my work, because it's more flowy, and like, I can't just have like an image that perfectly depicts an entire scenario with the characters in the middle and room for text in just like one big punch. That I think is a real strength for Oliver.
Oliver, you are also supplying you're doing the pencils, the inks, and your colors too, right?
Yeah, although I did pick up a flatter just recently, so we are getting a little help to fill in the base level color, and then I have to go in it. It's dividing up the different sections.
Yeah. Real tedious, time consuming. Yeah.
Really tedious time
Man,
consuming.
I'm not like, I said this when Jake was here, so I'm not blowing smoke up your butt, man. It legit is awesome. Like, your art is so good. The story's a lot of fun. It was my favorite read out of the Kai-Sei stuff that I got to read. And I can't wait for people to see this, because I think,
thank you so much.
like, I'm being serious, man. Like, just the characters really stand out. So I want Chris, how would you pitch this? How would you pick this? What makes this series so different than any other Godzilla series that's coming out, or the ones that have come before?
I think like part of it is that we're like the, like the cosmic side of the universe, where like, in terms of like traditionally comics, there's a bit more leeway for things to be weird, and like there's more creative freedom because there's more space. You can do whatever you want on a planet that you visit. So it's like a mix of that. It's definitely a mix of Cowboy Bebop. It's like a crew doing like, missions, and like the first three are sort of solo, like, what do you call it, like episodes that are self-contained, and then we expand as we go on. Like Cowboy Bebop, Godzilla, Space Dandy too a bit.
Oh, Space Dandy, nice.
Yeah, like crew, like mishmash crew doing odd jobs across the universe filled with like kaiju and weird planets and amazing art, stuff like that.
So you mentioned kaiju. You don't have to reveal specifics, but will we be seeing more kaiju from the Godzilla universe? Okay.
So I mean, like canonically, and obviously we're kind of like taking bits and pieces from like the actual lore and kind of readapting different things like as we see fit, but obviously trying to also we want to do interesting things but also satisfy fans at the same time. And so like there's a whole stable full of movie kaiju that are canonically from space. So maybe we see some of those in their kind of element, like in their home areas.
Okay.
That's kind of the vibe.
With the shared universe, is that something that you all talk ahead of time about with the other creative teams? Like, hey, we're going to be using these characters, or maybe you can give a hint that this thing is coming to Earth and we can deal with it. Because I love connected universes. That's one of my favorite things, because I grew up a Marvel kid and then eventually a DC kid. And I was like, oh, that thing in that issue of X-Men is actually impacting this thing that's happening in Spider-Man. The whole city's going to hell because of Inferno. Like, I love things like that, right? Like little things that start off in one comic and they show up later on in another comic.
So with us, because I got to talk to the other two teams in person like last month. They are very intermingled, because their setting is right next to the setting of Godzilla is right next to the setting of Dead Zone, so they have to be intermingled. For us, I mean, like, and it's the way that it feels is like the galaxy is literally like huge, so we get to really kind of play freely with the knowledge that any of these characters could cross paths at some point.
Yeah, and then Jake is the one that has to do the whole like, oh, you get to use this and we get to use it. That's his job.
Nice. Okay, then I'm assuming things like this will happen one day, where the characters are going to all meet each other. And I'm a sucker for crossover events, man. That's what I'm getting at. Like, things like that happen. I know that a lot of writers and artists are like, oh man, another crossover. But it's a lot of fun, especially because, I mean, I don't think there has ever been, at least from my memory, in comic book format, where there has been a Godzilla universe where we have 3 ongoing titles in the same shared universe. Yeah,
not with multiple titles, to my knowledge.
And different from each other, too. Not a bunch of like kaiju hunting, like legit. Each one feels different, and I like that about the books, that they all feel different yet kind of connected because of the whole Godzilla thing. What's been your favorite thing to draw, Oliver, so far? Unless you can't spoil it, but
so almost every issue I get to draw like a different planet, and Chris's Chris writes the kind of anthropology for each planet and how they're able to survive. And obviously I extrapolate from that into some of the visuals, but like I know that Chris does this, and I'm trying to do it as well. We try our best to like make the worlds feel like real worlds, or like make the worlds make sense for the location that they're at. And so like just like the different settings and how people are interacting with living alongside like a kaiju filled universe is like, I know that's kind of like a wide answer. But like, that's like world building is like one of my favorites. It's like when you're like a creator, I feel like cooking up the world, you almost have more fun because you can kind of play the story in your head, and there's an internal payoff for that. But like coming up with the worlds is like the hardest part, but also like a really fun aspect. This is also the first like full length book that I've done that is all traditional. So I'm doing like, real ink on paper, and thus like my inking style is like kind of evolved and I hope gotten better over the course of the series. But yeah, so getting to actually draw Starship Godzilla and all the forms that ends up happening is very fun. I've gotten a lot better at showing it from all the different angles and making it feel. It's hard when you take something that like doesn't exist in real life and turn that into like essentially like a 3D model in your head so you can move it around. Yeah.
When you mentioned world building, at what point, like Chris, as the writer of this book, do you give Oliver like the freedom to be like, when you're writing a script, every writer is of course different, but in your head you kind of envision things like whether the designs or the architect or the mechanics behind things that work in this world, or even the aliens. When you share that with Oliver, like or you just say, hey man, have fun, like create some underwater creatures or something?
No, I don't do that. I do what I would want as an artist, which is like, here's all the description. I send a lot of like if it's complex, I'll do sketches and send a bunch of reference images. I think it's a lot easier to be like, oh, hey, maybe this picture of a weird fish would be useful for this thing. And then at the top of every script is like, hey, here's all the stuff that I thought could be helpful. End of the day, hey, it doesn't work for you, go your own way, do what you want. But I think, if you just like, if the panel description is like, oh, it's an underwater submarine base, go for it. Like, that's a lot of Googling. That's a lot of like time that an artist then has to spend that they're not drawing, that they're doing like that can be half of a workday just finding resources to build something from. I know Oliver probably works a lot from his head and imagination and stuff, but I like to build up, like a page of resources and pull a little bit from here and there.
Mm-hmm. So that's a really good point, though, about how much do you research? Because if you're doing that, you're not writing, right? If you're researching,
the writing is like, there's no, like, Oliver has to spend so much longer on these. There's no equivalent thing. Like the writing is like, it's hard work, but like it's not the same amount of effort. So my opinion is like a writer should like provide as much resources as like they can in a script, with the caveat like, hey, this is just here if you need it. Like, don't even, if you read the panel description or you think you got to, like, you already see it in your head, don't even bother clicking the link, don't even bother looking at the sketch or whatever, but like, hey, it's here, because like the writer should be doing as much as they can to take as much of the burden off the artist. Like, my worst nightmare is someone being like, hey, I've written a screenplay, turn it into a 100-page book. Like, that's so much work. Like, I would just be like, oh no, have fun with that. Like, bye-bye. Like, so my scripts are definitely I don't have a comparison really, to be honest, because I don't illustrate other people's stuff. So
I'll say, so Chris is the first writer that I've worked with that also like is just as much an artist as a writer, like very much like a true like cartoonist. And so his scripts are you can tell that he's coming to it from a point of view that he knows that visuals need to come with it. Like, and that's like, it is like super helpful. It's like very, like sometimes the script isn't even the only thing. He'll like link to a separate document where there's like, here's all of the extra like stuff that you might need to know. And like, here's a slideshow of like 20 different reference photos of like old warehouses. And it's
yeah. I mean, part of that is like
really
if I have to go to a warehouse.
It looks
I have a plan.
a lot of you know search engine like, what does this look like? How do fish gills work? You know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, super good. It's you know, a lot of that stuff, like the reason that you need reference is like our like weird animal brains know what looks right, even though our like we don't, you know, you couldn't, or maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe you fish a lot, but like you wouldn't look at a fish and be like, oh no, I know exactly what fish gills look like in my head, you know? Exactly. So like, but it feels right when it is right.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I'm going to share the character lineup for the Starship Godzilla so people can see the differences in these characters too. Because the artwork is so awesome and detailed and crazy yet easy to follow. That's what I like about it, because there is you know, there are people that can do this, like certain artists that can do covers, right? But whenever you're looking at sequential art, it's not for everybody, and not everybody can pull it off. And I think you have that wonderful mix of like, you know, wonderful, awesome cover, really cool, and character designs are amazing. Could be video game, could be an anime, but your sequential art is solid too and easy to follow. And that's why this book really stood out to me, and I couldn't wait to talk to you all. So these are these the key players in the first couple of issues or first arc? Is that what we're looking at here? I mean, I know Ayan and Rohan.
Yeah. So Ayan and Rohan are like dual leads. Then the rest of the crew are Jen, Ickblob, and Liff, and everyone's kind of together by issue 2, and then the other two come in issue 3, which I think that's you're asking Oliver what his favorite thing he drew is. Like, I think issue 3 is probably the one that
okay.
Cool. Like that turned out awesome.
To be fair, so like this was before we even really got like this. I drew this stuff pre our first meeting together. Like, I just saw like an early design document. So like, not even all of this is like entirely accurate, to be completely honest. But but yeah, like it was really more to get the vibe that the kind of visual language of the series.
I can see
Toriyama,
just for sure, some Toriyama in there.
Oh man, yeah, that cover, absolutely right. Like, oh, that's so
man,
good.
I've actually been watching Dragon Ball. I have it on my TV in the other room right now because I've been on this kick of watching like 3-hour blocks of old Toonami. So I get like Yu Yu Hakusho and like Tenchi and Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star, I no one's ever mentioned this, but like Outlaw Star was also a large. It's a personal favorite.
Oh wait. Is that why Ayan has red hair?
No. But I mean, like, it's a visual language. It's in the general visual language. All of that.
Yeah,
all that stuff is mixed in.
See, now you're speaking my language, man. Old crap. I mean, like, that I love. That era of anime. That's what this reminds me of. It really, honestly, it's like and this is I'm 47, so this is a big compliment. Like, it really does remind me of like 80s anime, or it was kind of like space adventure 80s movies. That's what it reminds me of, and it's a lot of fun. Y'all ever see Lensman? I don't know if
I
you
don't
ever
think so.
saw it.
I don't think
It
so.
was it was one of the first. I think it was in 1990. I want to say it was in 1993. So it kicked off the whole sci-fi Japanimation domination back before it was even called anime. It was just called Japanimation. That's all we called it. And Linsman it was a book series, but they animated one of them into a movie and OVAs, and they turned it into a movie. But that's what it reminded me of a little bit, man. I dig it. It's awesome. I can't wait till people check this out. Now,
Can't wait for people to see it. It was super. It's been really cool to see these past couple like interviews come in and reviews come in. We got some very high scoring reviews, which was like very, very nice. But yeah, up until this moment, legitimately, I don't know. Like Chris and I really didn't talk about it like in depth, but like I've been like so nervous because it's a big bold move in a hard direction, you know, and you could really, at least for my visuals, like, you know, there's a chance that people just really thought it might like fall flat or something. I don't know. Maybe this
Yeah. I mean, like I was nervous about my part, like, you know, writing that the story's way more amorphous and it's subjective, but like I can see the pages coming in. I was like, oh yeah, like there's no, like I was like, I was not worried that people were going to resonate with the artwork. Like I was like, this is good, but yeah, that's fine.
On my
yeah,
it's been a big sigh of relief seeing everybody really like it. I appreciate it.
Has been nice. Yeah, it's been lovely.
I think people are going to find out just how great this comic is. And the beauty of it is that I haven't mentioned yet is that you don't have to have read or watched any Godzilla
to
enjoy it. Yeah, of course it helps, you know, Easter eggs and all that, but it is just a fun book. I love this variant cover, by the way.
The Star Wars cover, yeah.
Star Wars cover, yeah. This is the kind of fun you in the book, though.
There's the End of Evangelion one coming up, like. That's really cool. Like the like
that's the one Lou did, right?
Or whatever.
Like Gray's face in the water. Like
well, I'm not sure I'm meant to talk about it, but it's cool.
Oh man. Okay. Before you gentlemen go, because I know you've got some other stuff lined up. What are you all currently working on besides the Godzilla project? I know it takes a lot of time, so I didn't know if you got anything else in the works, like personal graphic novels or art books.
I'm probably at like page 175 of like my next book, but it's going to be really like I'm taking my time because it's going to be really long. So that, and I've been doing pitching, which is kind of demoralizing, but I've just been trying to pitch lots of stories and getting mostly no traction, but I guess that's how it works.
Once this comes out, though, I feel, you know.
I mean, I'd like to think that maybe someone will read it and be like, "Hey, we should give this guy a job." But you know, we'll see. I'm all the way in Australia, so like, it's nice to do an interview with somebody that like is familiar with my work. We're very far away. Anyway, what about you, Oliver? Is Godzilla is it all consuming, or you got some other stuff going? You did a book with Rosie, right? Like a.
So I have. I'm in a moment, like I'm full steam on Starship currently still. I'm inking issue 4 currently.
Nice.
And that's taking most of the time. But like obviously there are always things that I'm like cooking on the side. I have like a mermaid thing that I'm doing with my brother, which is really fun. It's like a horror retelling of like Little Mermaid, which is kind of, but it's funky. It's real funky.
I've read some of that.
Yeah, I showed it at one point. Yeah.
That's right.
And then I actually have coming out the next thing that I have dropping. I'm kind of seeing all the fruits of my labor right in these next few months. So I have a story in the new Creep Show. Volume 4, issue 1.
Yeah,
it's
the one published by Skybound Image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a story in that.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say because you can do horror really well. You have a sample of your comics on your oliverono.com, and there
who wrote that actually? Jonathan Hickman wrote that story for me.
Whoa,
Cool.
dude, look at that.
Isn't that
That's
wild?
big time, man. That's big time.
It was wild. Yeah, I was like 20. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a whole big thing. But yeah, bizarre, very deep Jonathan Hickman cut.
Okay, when you come back, you got to tell me the story of how that even
Sure.
happened. It's like Jonathan Hickman just writing things. No, yeah, it's creepy. I like that. Well, I just want to thank both of you for your time. I want to thank my buddy Greg for setting this up, and yeah, I would love to have both of you back whenever that first graphic novel hits, and we got future graphic novels. So I hope people are checking this book out. Again, the release date, or I'm sorry, the FOC is August 25th. So you got about a week left, and then the book will be out October 1st. So make sure people are pre-ordering, because without single issues, there are no trade paperback collections. Like I like to remind people. Thank you all so much, seriously, for your time. And I hope you all are having a blast making this book, because it really feels like you guys are having fun making it. So that's it for us, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash that like button and check out the books when they come out. Have a great day. And we are